Laser sights will make you a more accurate and confident shooter by providing visual feedback on sight alignment and trigger control. Crimson Trace, making laser sight standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
This is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, now available on iTunes and other podcast clients, and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android. Feel free to call Tom now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN or 866-825-5486, or email Tom at guntalk.com. Now, once again, here's Tom.
All right, back with you, Tom Gresham. It's Gun Talk. Of course, we're talking about, well, guns and shooting and self-defense, and also about the hunting seasons are starting to open up. Have you been out to the range? What I call shooting range follies, the stuff we see out there. If you have any of those kind of stories, I would love to have that, because you get some once-a-year visitors to the range, and you're going to go, ooh, we're going to be a little careful out here. By the way, we're giving away stuff, as we like to do. All you have to do is go to guntalk.com/win. That's WIN. This month, I guess this is the last week. Yeah, it would be. Giving away a Liberty safe, one of the big Fat Boy Jr. gun safes with an accessory panel and free delivery. Holds up to 48 guns. Also giving away Liberty Safe HDX 350 Smart Handgun Vault with biometric entry. Go to guntalk.com/win. A lot of people ask, oh, yeah, I got to tease this one anyway. This is interesting. ACLU is defending the NRA. Hello. Politics makes for strange bedfellows. ACLU is defending the NRA against Andrew Cuomo's blacklisting campaign. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. People ask all the time, what can I do for the Second Amendment? What can I do for gun rights? How do I get involved? And I always have some answers, but there are a lot of different answers. And here's an interesting way to go about it. We're going to bring in right now Lesley Hollywood. She's the founder of Rally for Our Rights. Lesley, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me on.
All right. So the obvious first question is, what is Rally for Our Rights?
Well, Rally for Our Rights is a gun rights organization that kind of spurred up after the March for Our Lives people were taking to the streets. I saw a need, and myself and some fellow Second Amendment supporters just really saw a need to come out and counter that, to show people, the public, and even just show Second Amendment supporters that they're not alone, to kind of take on this overarching anti-gun sentiment that was going across the country so rapidly, and honestly was pretty frightening. So Rally for Our Rights, what we do is we use our First Amendment to rally for our Second Amendment, and we've had, at this point, 6-7 rallies across Colorado, and we get hundreds of people out in the streets with signs. They're not all gun owners. That's one interesting thing. We're nonpartisan. Mm-hmm. We're just about defending the Second Amendment, and for all people. So yeah, it's been fantastic. We've been going since April, and we're really starting to garner some action. It's been pretty fun.
One of the problems or challenges, if you will, is just pure money, because this the March for Our Lives, the David Hogue, they've got billionaires backing it. When they were marching in Washington, D.C., a friend of mine was in D.C. that day when they were doing that. And he said, he was in a restaurant, and these kids were coming in, and they all had $15, a $5 and a $10 bill, and they were stapled together. They all had the same. Somebody was organized, and they were handing out these $15 meal vouchers to hundreds and thousands of people. And then, of course, the scale of the whole thing was enormous. From your standpoint, we don't have, at least not that I'm aware of, we don't have billionaires throwing money at it like that, do we?
No, we definitely don't. And our organization's, 100% grassroots, funded by people who just absolutely support what we're doing. They're excited to see somebody out taking a stand on this, where you see other organizations, we have our other gun rights organizations, whether it's the NRA or here in Colorado, we have Rocky Mountain Gun Owners. and they're kind of just keep doing their thing, and they're not really paying attention to what's happening on these lower local community levels.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, this stuff is, highly funded, and it's heavily funded as far as, the gun grabbers go. But what we've really found is what we're kind of turning our rallies into community organizing. We're now getting involved in our city council meetings. We had the Boulder assault weapons ban take place here. We were super on top of that, and we've actually now been following who we consider almost one of the biggest threats to local communities right now is Moms Demand Action, and they're the ones that are getting into these city councils and demanding these assault weapons bans. So what we're doing is we're actually just staying really on top of it. We know where they're going to be, where they're trying to push this, and we are there to counter it. So you don't really necessarily need tons of money. What you need is some really heavily dedicated organizers like myself and the people I work with, and then just a whole lot of, honestly, just, kind of fed up Second Amendment supporters who are willing to take their evenings and get into these meetings, get onto the streets, and really start to kind of counter this. And we've been doing a really good job here in Colorado. I mean, we did a counter protest to a march on the NRA. They had that national one just a couple weeks ago,
right?
We did a counter protest to it. And honestly, we had, probably they were pretty small there, but they knew we were going to be there. And we just have to keep showing up and making our presence known. And they know who we are now, and that's pretty interesting.
I really think you just hit it on the head. We have to show up. But I've been saying this for years. We have numbers. Our problem is we tend to not show up. We have a lot of excuses. And people will say, no, there are reasons. I say, no, they're excuses. And people say, well, those other people, they don't have jobs. Yes, they do. They still show up. We have jobs. We have to show up. We have to take Saturdays to be there. We have to know what's on the agenda of the local city council, and we have to, as I have done, and a lot of people now are starting to figure it out, you have to join the Moms Demand so you get on the email list so you know where they're going to go so you can set up your counter-protest to be there, don't you?
Exactly. And, that's exactly what I have done. I get every text message from March for Our Lives, Moms Demand Action, Every Town for Gun Safety. I'm on their email list, their text message list. Some people just can't stomach it. I can because it helps me know where and when to organize.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing is really people need to show up and they need to make a commitment. And one thing that I find doing these rallies really helps with is actually this feeling of community that people now realize they have. They're making friends. They find it fun to come out and do this stuff. When they go to a city council meeting, they know they're not alone because they have just we're creating a very localized gun rights community within our state and very much more within our cities. And I think that is really empowering to people. It makes them say, I can do this. I can go stand up at a Boulder City Council meeting or Broomfield City Council meeting and speak because I know that my friends are going to be there and are going to have my back. And that really does make an enormous difference.
Are you getting any inquiries from people in other parts of the country who are saying, how do we do this here?
We have, yeah. I mean, so we started, our very first rally was April 7th, and we really weren't sure quite what to expect. What we found was we in 10 days, planned a rally, had to fight the city a little bit about they didn't want us to do it. It doesn't matter to me. That's our First Amendment right. So we had to kind of push back a little bit there. That very first rally, we had 500 people show up, and then just since then, it's just exploded, taken off across the state, and we've had people from out of state want to know, how do you do this? How have you managed to organize all these people? And I think so much of it has to do with, it's community organizing. It's what the gun grabbers are so good at. It's what the left is so good at, is community organizing, and we just have to do it. And I know people hate that term, but it's a necessity.
I'm going to throw a thought out here. I want to bounce this off of you. I think women are often better at doing this than men are.
Yeah, and that could be really true. I mean, I think for me, one thing that has been probably, beneficial to me is I'm just a leader by nature. I've been involved in citizen activist work for about 10 years, and this is one that's near and dear to my heart. But I also think that, we kind of, people almost are a little softer when they're like, oh, it's just Lesley Hollywood, and I actually have a 19-year-old daughter who's been really helping a lot as well. You know, they don't feel so threatened. They feel a little bit more like we can all come together. We can hang out. Like we're all we all care about the same cause. And it's, when I say it's nonpartisan, I really mean that. I mean, we've had people stand up at city council meetings right next to us and defend the Second Amendment as Democrats. It's because we give them that platform to do so.
Well, and I've said that forever. So, you know, yes, I know that on the national level, the Democrats are strongly anti-gun, but on the individual level, you will find a lot of Democrats who believe in and support the Second Amendment, and it would be foolish to throw away that kind of support when you can get it. I want to applaud you for what you're doing, because it's not easy, but at the same time, in a way, it kind of is, because we're getting a few people together and going to these either school board meetings, city council meetings, county commission meetings, showing up, because, and you made the point, and I want to make people understand, that's what the gun ban industry is doing. They have literally full-time staffers in every state, and they target every one of these meetings and every one of these bodies. They're trying to implement and insert anti-gun measures at every level of government they can.
Yeah, that's absolutely what they're doing. And what's really, really kind of frightening that I've seen here in Colorado is watching the NRA and watching, you know, National Association of Gun Rights, or the RMGO. They're not looking on local levels. They're not paying attention to what's happening in our city council meetings. That's why what we're doing, and our organization is starting to get really organized and very effective. But that's why what we're doing is so important. It's because nobody is paying attention now but us. I literally have NRA members here in the state that will say, I heard about this gun ban happening in Erie because of your organization, Lesley. And that's pretty amazing.
Well, it is, but you know, it's, once again, it takes all of us. The NRA can do what it can do on a national level and sometimes state levels, but when it goes local, you got to do it on your own. I love when people say, "Well, you know, what's the NRA doing?" I say, "No, that's the wrong question. The question is, what are you doing?"
Exactly.
That's how it happens.
And the NRA is doing things that our organization can never even touch. You know, we all matter, but what's great is that we're not replicating each other's efforts.
Exactly. Lesley Hollywood, thank you so much for what you're doing. It's the Rally for Our Rights, and the website is rallyforourrights.com. On Facebook, Rally for Our Rights. You can check it out there. Keep pushing. Keep going. Doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on.
All right, you take care. 866-TALK-GUN is the magic number here. We are now open lines. If there's a gun you want to talk about, a caliber that you particularly just love, I want to know why. Why do we get so enamored of a particular caliber? I know I do. Do you have one? And why is that the one for you? 866-TALK-GUN.
When you want the highest quality ammunition, look to HSM. Since 1968, hunters and shooters have counted on HSM cartridges, including world-renowned Trophy Gold, featuring Berger VLD bullets, Pro Pistol Hunter, Cowboy Action, and the new Game King, featuring field-proven Sierra bullets. HSM's new revolutionary low-recoil rifle loads hit game hard, but kick much less. Low-recoil loads use standard weight-for-caliber Sierra hunting bullets in 7 popular calibers. HSM at your local shooting sports retailer.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
Face it, sometimes more is better. That's the idea behind the double-stack, full-capacity pistols from Springfield Armory. From the groundbreaking XD to the ergonomic XDM to the latest refinements in the XD Mod 2 series, you can get subcompact, mid-size, and full-size pistols in 9, 40, and 45. carry, target, or tactical models. Fast, accurate, dependable. Don't come up short when it matters. Go full cap. Go Springfield Armory. Springfield-Armory.com.
All right, you may know, but right now, as we're doing this live breaking news out of Florida and Jacksonville, it appears that there's been a shooting at a Madden 19 tournament, video game tournament. Several fatalities are being reported. They're saying the suspect in this has been killed. Don't have any more details than that at the time. It is, again, a reminder, a wake-up call. When you go to, forget it, when you are any place, not when you go, any place you are, do you have an idea where the exits are? Could be the front door, could be side doors, could be out through the kitchen. In a store in a mall, they all have doors in the back, blow out the back, don't go out to the center of the mall. And at the same time, I would just ask you to consider rededicating yourself to taking care of yourself and your family. Who else is going to do it for you? I mean, literally. Who else is going to take care of you and your family? Have a good firearm and then know how to use it. And when I say know how to use it, I'm not talking about being able to shoot it well. I'm talking about how to move and shoot and use cover and fix problems with your gun while you are moving. If the gun jams, can you clear it and reload it without looking at the gun? That's what you end up doing in all these classes we're talking about, whether it's a gun site or the SIG Academy or Shoot Right or any place. And we've got good trainers all over the country now. Make a commitment, get the training, get a good gun, carry a spare magazine always, and commit to getting recurrent training. Your family is depending on you, whether you are the husband or the wife or the grandfather. Your family depends on you, not just to save them, but to save you so that you're there for them. It's a pretty simple equation, actually. Line 3, Doug's with us out of Williston, North Dakota. Hey, Doug, you been shooting?
Yeah, a little bit, Tom.
So tell me about it.
Well, I've been doing some long-range shooting with my sidekick, and spent all winter putting a gun together and doing my homework on it. Loaded some rounds for it, got a good 0 on it, and then we found the happy bullet for it and a powder it liked.
Well, tell me about the rifle and the caliber.
6.5 by 284.
Really? Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Amazing. It was a hunting gun another guy built for me, and it doesn't have a fancy barrel. It's just a Douglas barrel, Timmy trigger. And anyway, I thought, well, I'll just shoot what I brung, and just put it together from there. Put a Vortex scope on it, and I tell you what, we had a 500-yard target set out there. It was a 8-inch gong, and first time stretching it out, shooting it through the chronograph, and I hit that target dead center. First shot.
Best feeling ever, isn't it?
Yeah, I shot 4 more times just to verify it. I never missed.
Oh, now that's fun.
Do your homework, and it comes together.
Well, the 6.5 by 284 is kind of an unsung hero. A lot of serious shooters know about it, but a lot of other people do not know. That's rebated rim cartridge, 284, neck it down to 6.5. That's a screamer, man. That's a good cartridge.
Yeah, it flies. It gets with the program.
Well, that's terrific. So what's your plan? Are you going to be like use it for competition, or is this primarily a hunting rig?
Well, its job is just to shoot long range targets. That's
just
it.
For fun.
I got plenty of other hunters. Yeah.
Okay, just for fun. So just reach out there.
Yeah. Yep. We threw it out to 1,000 after that, and I hit the 1,000 gong third shot. So
that's terrific. Well, that is a great report. I sure appreciate that. Long-range shooting is just way too much fun. Thanks, Doug. Let's go talk with Keith on line 4 out of State College, Pennsylvania. Keith, you're up. What are you doing here?
Hey, Tom. I've got a Springfield Armory Saint coming down my way in a couple weeks, and
Okay.
I understand you've shot it, and the closest information I can really get on it is almost a year old. So is there anything new I should be expecting when it arrives? This is my first rifle.
It's your first rifle you've ever owned. Well, it is an AR-15, and that's the whole thing. Is that it works like every other AR-15. I would suggest. Have you ever shot an AR-15?
No. I've had handguns and shotguns, but never an AR-15 or a rifle.
What you need to understand about it is how all the buttons and levers work. And I mean, it sounds simple, and it really is. It's just a case of, well, what does this do? You've got a magazine release, you've got a safety, you've got the bolt close paddle on the left side, and then it'll hold a bolt open when you pull the bolt back using the charging handle. I'm sure there are some basic AR-15 videos on YouTube, and I think maybe I would start there. If you have a friend who has experience with AR-15s, I would say go out and shoot with that person. Now, what are you going to do with it, and how are you going to rig it up? I mean, optics, anything else?
Well, you'll forgive me, but I guess the one thing that I always thought the Saint delivered was something I didn't have to rig up. It kind of came in at the sweet spot where it was a little bit above the do-it-yourself, but it wasn't one of those really intricate pieces that you would use. I mean, that's certainly true.
But the beauty of the AR-15 is you were never done tweaking with them. They are like an erector set if you're a little bit older. Remember those. So it'll have iron sights, but you could put an optic on it. If you're using it for hunting, you definitely want a scope. Probably a low-power scope would be. And you could actually put a low-power scope on it, variable, like a 1 to 4, 1.5 to 5, that would work for both self-defense, if that's what you're going to do, or hunting. But first of all, you just need to go out to the range and shoot it. Try to find an instructor, or even contact the range and say, do you have somebody who could teach me a little bit about it? It's not difficult, but at the same time, it's not really intuitive. And you need to start off carefully and get somebody to show you how to use it. I applaud you on the choice. I think you're going to love it. It's just a case of getting started the right way, and a good instructor will take care of that for you. 866-TALK-GUN.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
All right, we continue to follow this story that is one of the more bizarre ones. It's not often you get a story that involves the First Amendment and the Second Amendment all together and other things going on, and it really exposes the bias and the thinking of a lot of the folks on the left, where they're quite willing to destroy the First Amendment in order to get to and destroy the Second Amendment. We're talking specifically about the Defense Distributed case, the 3D printing files, not guns, but files, that there have been these lawsuits stopping the publication, not manufacture, the publication of files on the internet, files which are basically what's needed to 3D print a gun. It's all about Cody Wilson and what he's been doing, and he's going to join us right now and give us an update. Hey, Cody, how are you, sir?
Hey, Tom. I'm happy to be here, man. Doing well.
I'm glad you're here. I just saw... Well, first of all, we're going to back up. Let's give some people a little bit of background. These files have been available on the internet for years now. And then the State Department or the government told you got to take them down. I'm going to fast forward through this to get people where we are. You took them down, but then you sued the government, and they came back to you and said, basically, hey, we're going to lose this in big time. Can we settle? They settled it. So you're all set to put these files on the Internet, First Amendment test case, basically, if you will. And then you get sued by multiple, first of all, by the gun control lobby. They lost that one. And then several attorneys generals for the different states sued the Trump administration, not you. They finally get a judge to block the publication, again, like book burning, block publication of the files. And so last week, you have this hearing in Washington State and Seattle, and I guess we're waiting maybe tomorrow we're supposed to get a ruling on this. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, that judge is expected to rule tomorrow.
Okay, so the files are already out there in multiple places. So it's not like they're stopping these, but they're preventing you specifically from putting these on the Internet, supposedly. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, those are the arguments they made at the hearing. They said, well, Your Honor, it doesn't matter that there are other places online. You know, if we stop Cody Wilson, that means, we stop them from being very easy to get, which, of course, is a classic First Amendment deprivation.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. And then I loved it, the Justice Department, which they had come to you and you'd settled with them, and you're actually licensed by the government to put these files out. The Justice Department says, hey, these state attorneys general have screwed this up. They don't understand what's going on, and they're asking the judge to deny the injunction on the deal. So you got the federal government telling the judge, hey, leave Cody alone. We've already struck a deal with him.
Yeah, this is what's wild about this round, which is that now you have to beat the federal government at its own congressionally appointed powers, right? Foreign Affairs and State Department type powers. Mm-hmm. The states have no standing to even come into court and be mad about this. But the fact that we're talking with liberal judges, it means that they at least they entertain it. Even though, again, we're in a zone of law so far outside of redressability or imminent harm, like they can't do anything about it. And we'll just see how long it gets kicked around before someone figures it out.
Okay, I see on Twitter you just put out something that I loved. It says, I'm about to give you one hell of a week. What do you mean by that?
Oh, buddy. Yeah, we got a lot happening this week, Tom.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so look, I ain't going to spoil it, but I'll tell you. A lot depends on what this judge rules in Washington, right? But now I don't expect this judge to rule my way. I don't expect anyone to actually read the law. Right? Well, I don't expect it to.
If they read the law, if they go strictly by the law, they have to kick this thing out and stop the injunction and allow you to go ahead and publish because that's what the law says. But what you're saying is you expect there to be some activist action by this judge who probably doesn't really like you or like guns. Am I guessing correctly?
Yeah, that's my read so far.
Okay. So if this judge... Probably it won't be all or all one way or the other. It'll probably be trying to slice the pie up. And he'll probably give you something but try to put some restrictions on you. Does that sound like kind of what is in the tea leaves here?
This is my thought. This judge is just going to invent some standard of justiciability here, and he'll think he's done something very smart. And he'll give me partial relief, and he'll give the states partial relief. But I'm not interested in that. And I assume that even if I'm a little bit screwed, I'm completely screwed.
And I assume that you have some things lined up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, what we've got lined up, we've been building for quite a while, especially the last month. I built it to get it ready for this type of scenario. So,
you have an all-star team of attorneys. I know that. You got some of the smartest legal minds out there on this.
Yeah.
You have the law on your side, and to put a fine point on it, this is not really, at this point, a Second Amendment case, is it?
No, it's not. And frankly, it's not even a First Amendment case. It's a case about the kind of boring black letter terms of the regulations under the State Department and what's called the Administrative Procedures Act. All very easy things to understand, but apparently they become very, very difficult when the outcome affects guns.
Let me ask you, we have not talked about this, so I'm just coming in cold. I just had a weird idea. Is it possible under the law, and I know that you may not be a lawyer, but you've been fighting this fight long enough that you probably earned a graduate degree in it. Is it possible to go hold individually states attorneys general and charge them with deprivation of rights under color of law?
Oh yeah. In fact, I mean we've filed that suit in Texas already, so that we've got a vehicle there for that. So we've added the New Jersey Attorney General and the Pennsylvania Attorney General. We've added the City Attorney of Los Angeles, and we'll add other people, who threaten us, like New York and Delaware, who basically sent us cease and desist letters and things. So we've got that vehicle. I agree with you 100% that we can get a deprivation of civil liberties action going. What I have in mind is not necessarily legal. It's extra legal, and it's a way of demonstrating that the game is completely over, and that we've all been arguing about something pointless, and that all these state attorney generals are just willing to ruin the law completely, every function of government, if it just gave them a moment of relief.
They will, and I started this out by saying they will destroy the the First Amendment in their effort to get to our Second Amendment rights. Was that overstating the case?
No, certainly not. Right? The arguments required, like in the Washington case, for example, are that no, of course the First Amendment doesn't protect CAD data, which is just design data. There's nothing, it's code, sure, but it's not like automatic machine code or something like they're arguing. So you have to argue that design data from a computer in any media has no First Amendment value at all. And then you have to argue that there's no Second Amendment value in it. And then you have to argue that there's no combined value, like when it's First Amendment speech about the Second Amendment. So you have to say that Americans have no right or interest in this type of data at all, even to get into the courthouse. And then, of course, you have to make all these other additional arguments on top of that, which is that somehow that a file itself, possession of a file, could be tantamount to possession of the gun, and that having data, like the book on a 1911 or the file for 1911, is the same as having basically like an element of a conspiracy to commit a crime.
Well, actually, I think was it Charles Schumer who said that it should be illegal to even possess the files? In other words, it'd be like not only banned books, but if you have this book or if you have this file, that in itself is a crime?
Of course. This is what they want, and this is what you have to believe. Now, you don't have to say it's necessarily criminal to possess it, but you can say possessing it can only lead to some criminal outcome. Like these states in court, they won't admit that anyone has the right to build a gun, which of course they do. They won't admit that it's legal. They say the only reason you'd have it is because you're about to violate one of our laws. And this is where you have to go in court to try to squeeze this narrow victory out. And let's be honest, like even if they get this victory, and they won't, it's impossible. But even if they were to get it, it only affects posting this stuff online. It doesn't affect the fact that I can give this file to you today. Yeah,
you can hand me a thumb drive and I've got the files then.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. So this is all Cody, a matter of law that they can't control.
Well, obviously you can't talk about what the plan is, but we're going to find out this week. We'll get this decision handed down probably tomorrow out of Seattle, and then we're going to see where we go from there. I cannot wait to see what happens next.
Thank you. I want to tell your listeners that if they want to support our legal fund, they can go to defcad.com. We're having a fundraiser there right now. And look, this is, we're spending like $100,000 a week right now. It's just crazy stuff. Jeez. But okay,
it's DEFCAD, D-E-F-C-A-D, D-E-F-C-A-D.
That's right, DEFCAD.com. And now, look, we're not the expenses are slowing down, of course. But I'm saying when you get sued by 20 states all across the country in many different venues, it's an incredible thing. So this is not just a fight for me. This isn't like, hey, they won't let Cody Wilson post. That judge's order in Washington means that no American currently has the right, at least until tomorrow, no American has the right to post any technical data related to guns on the Internet.
Wow. So all those exploded drawing books that we got from the NRA 30 and 40 years ago, those, if we digitize those, that would be illegal to put up there as well.
That's right. If those drawings weren't authorized by the State Department to be posted online, therefore it's illegal. You'd be committing a federal crime if you were to post them on Facebook or share them with your friends on a forum, AR15.com. People don't get that.
Amazing. Well, Cody, keep us posted, okay?
You got skin in the game. You got skin in the game.
We all do.
All right.
I will. We will. We'll put the word out. Thank you, sir. And I got to scoot. That website, by the way, is DEFCAD. That's DEF as in Foxtrot, CAD.com. If you would like to help with this fight, and I hope you will, go run over there and throw, the cost of a box of ammo at it. That'll work for you. 866-TALK-GUN.
For more than 70 years, Timney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime, setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Timney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at TimneyTriggers.com.
When someone leaves you their gun collection, you may want a few, but what do you do with the rest? How do you sell them? Who do you call? Well, I call Johnny Dury at Dury's Guns. Whether you're selling one gun or 500, they'll tell you what it's worth and write you a check. Simple, quick, easy, fair. I trust Dury's Guns. Give them a call. DurysGuns.com.
This land, once wild and free, fades now from our memory. But I remember what it was like, what we were like, what we are capable of when we band together. Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. These natural wonders are where waterfowl begin their cycle of life, where the deer and the antelope play, and where we, the people, gather together to see and share what makes the outdoors so great. The time is now to band together with organizations like Ducks Unlimited. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
After a million rounds of testing, adapting to every mini red dot optic in the firearms industry, the new FN 509 Tactical became the perfect evolution of the world's most battle-proven firearms. Designed for mill-free compatibility, the FN 509 Tactical bears the most advanced patent-pending optics mounting system ever seen on the front lines or the home front. Set your sights on the new FN 509 Tactical.
And in the politics makes for strange bedfellows category, the ACLU defends the NRA against Andrew Cuomo's blacklisting campaign. The lead of the story is the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, defended the National Rifle Association by opposing the New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's attempts to put the gun advocacy group out of business. ACLU submitted an amicus brief in federal court weighing in on the ongoing battle between the Democrat and the NRA. Cuomo has basically called for financial institutions to stop doing business with the NRA, to choke off their supply of money, to choke off their insurance or access to insurance, to basically strangle them and put them in a chokehold that kills the NRA. The ACLU, which, yes, they do some weird stuff at times. I get it, okay? But sometimes we work with them, whether it's the NRA or the Second Amendment Foundation. Sometimes it works out, and sometimes they are really useful. In this case, I think so, because people look at that and go, oh, this isn't just an NRA thing. This is actually a rights thing. Yes, it is. So now you have basically the group that supports, well, as they say, they can only count to 9, the ACLU. They kind of leave out the Second Amendment sometimes, but sometimes they don't. In this case, it's very interesting. And, of course, some of the people in the media are so surprised, well, the ACLU and the NRA, yes, it's all about this, the Bill of Rights and what is right. And while you may disagree with them on some things, in this case, I'm glad to have them here. Our number here is 866-TALK-GUN. If you've got an old gun that you're asking about, or a new gun you want to tell me about, I'd love to know about that. If you're thinking about purchasing a gun for carry, we could certainly talk about that. I'm looking at this story out of Florida. It just reminds me, carry, always carry, always, always carry. Let's go straight to Ray. He's on line 2 in Grants Pass, Oregon. Hey, Ray, you're on Gun Talk.
Hey, Tom. I'm purchasing a Winchester 1200. It's the wood stock and everything else. And what I'd like to do, it has a full choked barrel. One, I've been reading on the forums, you can shoot a slug through it, yay or nay. Two, I would like it as a home defense, maybe getting a slugged barrel with sights.
Let me jump in and ask you, why are you buying a Winchester Model 1200? That thing is old design, old manufacturer. It's like 25, 30-year-old at least.
Yeah, but I used to have a 1300 Defender, and that was one of the guns that got away, needed the money. And I really liked the slide action. I shouldered up a Mossberg. I shouldered up a Remington 1100 something. But it just felt neat. I know it's old. I'm the guy I called up a little bit ago. I have a Mossberg 185 DB and absolutely love it. I mean, it's an old gun, but it's kind of cool.
All right, we're going to be short on time. I'm going to go ahead and get this on the record. The Winchester 1200 was a POS. It was not a good gun, okay?
Really? Okay.
Yes, I'm just going to get that out there. However, if you're committed to getting this thing, and I would recommend you don't, I would recommend you get an 870 or a Mossberg or some other pump. But if you're committed to getting this thing, and I can say that because I had one of these, all right?
Okay.
The question is, what do you want to do with it? So then we can figure out what to do with the barrel.
You know what? I've never done any wing shooting. I've never done anything, outdoorsy. I'm more I've never done trap or anything, but I think it'd be a lot of fun to do it. But,
to do that well, then what you're really going to want is to have interchangeable choke tubes, screw-in choke tubes.
Right.
This may or may not have choke tubes on it because some did, some did not. No, it doesn't. It does not. Then you could have a gunsmith thread that barrel 4 choke tubes, but by the time you're done, you're going to have $100 into the project, and that's probably more than the gun's worth.
Yes.
Yeah,
it is.
There it is. I'm telling you, if it were me and you were my best friend, I would not let you go buy that. I would say go buy a Mossberg 500 combo, get the field barrel and a home defense barrel for it. You can get both of them with the kit. You'll have screw-in chokes. You'll have a home defense barrel for it, or a Remington 870 or something else. Spend a little bit more money because that's where you're going to end up anyway. By the time you put screw chokes in it, or you have to get a home defense barrel for it, now you're going to end up spending $300 for the package, and you're still going to have a 30-year-old POS.
Right. Now, really quick, what is your thought on, I happen to see a Mossberg Mini in 20 gauge that fit me really well. I'm really small of stature. My length of pull is really, I need to cut down everything.
Well, that's not a bad choice. If the stock fits you, and if your small stature and that shorter stock fits you, you could go that way, go with the 20 gauge, which is fine for home defense. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. It's fine for shooting sporting clays or play targets. It's not a bad way to go. Find one that fits you. I would buy a modern gun, get the screw chokes, get the whole system, and then now you can get parts for it, different barrels and everything you need easily. I'm trying to get you to not make a mistake. If you already had the 1200, would work on that. But since you haven't bought it yet, I'm going to try to move you off of it. Look, I appreciate it. I wish you luck with it, Ray. And whatever you decide after you've gotten it and take it out and shot it a little bit, give us a range report. Let us know how it goes. Thank you, sir. All right, 866-TALK-GUN is the magic number here. When we come back, we're going to talk about giving away stuff. You do not want to miss out on this because when we give away stuff, it's big and it's good and you really want it. In fact, I want it, but I can't have it. Tom Gresham, we'll be right back.